Welcome back to my channel. My name is Elizabeth. Today I am bringing you the tutorial for my guest design project for JS Hobbies and Crafts. I did a haul video. This is a kit that they sent me. It is by Echo Park and the collection is called Adventure Awaits. Like I said, if you want to see the haul video, I'll go ahead and link it down below so that way you can see all the goodies that they sent me. But today I'm going to go ahead and start my tutorial. I went ahead and pre-cut some stuff beforehand so that way we can save on time, but I will let you know all the measurements before. And if at any case you hear a dog barking in the background, I apologize. It is my neighbor's dogs and he hasn't gotten quiet and it's kind of late at night, so I figured I needed to go ahead and film this already. So anyway, let me go ahead and get started. Now, I am going to let you all know I am a little rusty. It's been about 7 months since I filmed any type of tutorial, so bear with me. I'm going to do the best that I can, but I am so excited to be working with this collection, especially for Shelly at JS Hobbies and Crafts. Again, all the materials that I'm going to be using, I will go ahead and link them down below. Visit her shop, guys. She will get the items to you quickly, and that way you can go ahead and finish crafting with me when this video continues. So first and foremost, the album I'm going to be making is going to be measuring 8 by 8, and it's going to have a 3-inch spine. So I did go ahead and already pre-cut the chipboard pieces. Again, the two front and back covers are 8 by 8 and the spine is 3 by 8. So you can go ahead and cut that. I also went ahead and cut that Tyvek envelope that she sent me in a piece big enough just to be able to cover the back of the album, just to give it a little bit more sturdiness. And y'all, there's still so much more left for at least, I would say, 2 more albums here, different sizes of course. And then I went ahead and I got 2 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock. I went ahead and used my score tape, my 3/8" score tape that she sent me, and I adhered them both together right down the middle. I did trim 1 inch off of each side before I started, so then it measured 12 by 11. Then after I attached them, I did trim a little bit from the bottom, so the entire measurement is actually 11. So you can pre-cut your sheets to 11 by 11, so and then just attach them with the 3-inch score tape, and you'll have the exact same thing that I have in front of me. So enough with that. Let me go ahead and start attaching the Tyvek. Now, I've used this like maybe, I don't know, twice in an album, but I do know it does reinforce your album very well. So I highly suggest that you go ahead and get yourself one of these envelopes for at least 2. I would say it will last you 2 or 3 projects. But I am going to attach this down the middle, and I'm going to be using my score tape and my art glitter glue. All I'm going to do is attach my score tape across the perimeter of this middle piece and down the middle. So that way we know that it is adhered very well to the Tyvek. So it will be going down the middle like so. Now, if you can see, it's a little bit on the shorter end, which is completely fine, guys. There's no matter. And then just make sure it is centered so that when you attach your end pieces of your album, you can give yourself about a 1/4 inch of a space in between, so that way it can make sure that the album does close easily. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the score tape, add some art glitter glue down the middle area that does not have any tape. I love having my my albums be very sturdy when it comes to the cover, because after so many years of opening and closing them, they are going to be getting wonky on you or a little worn. So you want to make sure that you do the best that you can to make sure it is going to last. Okay, so now that is attached. Now I'm going to attach the rest of the cover. So again, I am going to put some score tape down the side. Now again, I don't know exactly like if this is the perfect way to attach the Tyvek. If you have any suggestions, please let me know, but I want to say that I'm pretty comfortable and sure that this is going to last a good amount of time. Oops. Don't want to get it too close to the cover, because then of course I don't want there to be adhesive right where the cover is going to be. Again, guys, I'm a little rusty when it comes to my tutorials, so bear with me. So let me go ahead and remove the score tape. And like so. And I'm going to go ahead and attach my cover now. So it's pretty much what I did to the spine, except now I'm adding the adhesive to the actual Tyvek instead of the chipboard, only because I don't want it to overlap. There we go. And now this side. So it is going to give it a nice coverage there. So then now let me remove this. And add some glitter glue. Now, of course, I want to make sure that my cover is aligned to my spine. I don't want one side bigger than the other. And that looks about, there we go. Get your bone folder and finish it right there, and there you have it. Now we'll go ahead and adhere this to your base. So now this entire section is going to have your adhesive. I love using score tape for my covers. Again, I just simply think that it's much more sturdier than everything else. So more than likely, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward or kind of like speed the video up while I do this, because of course you don't need to see me putting tape on every single piece of this album. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video now until I am done adding all my adhesive, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm done with the tape. You need to make sure that you do not put score tape here on your crease areas, so that way it's not being like completely adhered. You want to keep that a little bit flexible. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove all the score tape and add some glitter glue in the middle and place this right in the center where I want it. So again, a little bit of a fast forward, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've already taken off the score tape. I've added my art glitter glue in the middle spaces. All I'm going to do now is flip this over and make sure I attach it right smack in the center of this entire piece. Make sure that this right here is in the middle of your spine, so that way it will not bend or break. And I'm thinking this right here sounds or looks just about right. Of course, you're not going to be completely perfect, which is fine. Just make sure you have enough space here and on the sides around the perimeter to make sure that you have enough folding room. So I'm going to flip this over, burnish really, really well. Now before I'm going to add my score tape here to be able to cover this, I am going to take the outside and I'm going to use my bone folder first of all to break up the cardstock a bit, so that way when I try to bend it, it's a little bit more workable. Oops. And now you're going to manipulate it a little bit so that way it does bend. I usually like taking my bone folder here to the side and work it against the edge of your album. Gives it a nice firm crease. Now to the other side. First I use my hands. And then I use my bone folder. Now this cardstock, y'all, this cardstock that Shelly sent me is amazing. It feels so sturdy. It's a lot better than cardstock that I get at Hobby Lobby, most definitely. So I highly suggest you guys pick this up to make sure that your albums actually last you a good while. I mean, this is for memory keeping for your family, you know. At the very end, when all of it is over, you know, the only thing that's left are pictures and memories. Okay, so now this is done. I'm going to go ahead and put my score tape around. Sometimes people cut, but I like putting the score tape first before cutting because it gives you every last piece of inches, or every last piece that is on your cover to be covered by the tape. There's nothing that's left uncovered. So I'm just going to line the perimeter of this with score tape, and then I'm going to add score tape to the edges of my chipboard as well. Now, like I said, you guys, it's been 7 months. I think my last video before this haul video that I posted was like a March Madness. So that tells you how long it's been since I've actually recorded anything. It's been March. And the reason why I stopped, I'll take this time while I do this to explain to you guys, is, you know, I had a little one. She was, you know, a little over a year old, if anything, I would say. And I felt very guilty for spending a lot of time in my craft room recording. And, you know, she would always cry for mommy to put her to sleep. And, you know, we spent a lot of bonding time together while she was a newborn and I was on maternity leave. So I just felt very guilty. And then plus I had a lot of work going on for me as in my teaching career, and that didn't help either. So even though crafting is a huge stress reliever for me, it just became, instead of being a stress reliever, it was just adding more stress to my schedule, if you know what I mean. So I had to kind of drop it for a little while, but I think I can handle things a little bit better. I moved from my campus. I'm no longer an elementary teacher. I'm a middle school teacher. So that is on its own stressful. But I'm having a little bit more time now, if the way I see it. So I'm hoping that that will help with all of this stuff. So anyway, I've already lined my score tape. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut kind of like at an angle, making sure that I leave a little space here. So I'm going to cut at an angle towards the cover and then out, making sure that I leave the tiniest little bit, maybe about 1/8 of an inch here, to make sure that my cover doesn't like peek out, like, I mean, my chipboard. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to cut slanted towards my chipboard, leave about 1/8 of an inch, and then cut at an angle again. So cut 1/8 of an inch out that way, and same thing here. So that's done. Again, give your so that way it can be pliable and move easier. And I really hope, like, I'm in frame right now because I haven't even been checking. Okay, so now that's done. I usually like starting from the top down. And again, as always, I'm going to remove my tape backing, and I'm going to put art glitter glue down in the area where there is a gap. I want every last piece of this cover to have adhesive to it because I do not want it to be without adhesive, I guess. I want everything to be glued. So again, right here, right in between, I'm going to add my art glitter glue and a line straight across the chipboard, making sure that that piece gets adhered also. And I start down the middle and I work my way outward. Since the cardstock is very much bent already from all the scoring and all the manipulating with my bone folder, it is not difficult to get this laid down flat. And now I'm going to flip this over and repeat at the top. So there you go. That's the cover of our album. I'm going to go ahead and take my bone folder and just kind of crease here where my album is supposed to bend. Kind of slowly move it. Now that Tyvek is going to give your album that extra bit of security and sturdiness. So there is our covers. Not too bad. I really like the way this came out. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create our hinges for the middle and cover these pieces right here with the same cardstock, and that should be the construction of our cover and our hinges. So let me go ahead and clean up my mess here, and I will be right back. So I'm back. The next thing you're going to do is I grabbed another piece of 12 by 12 cardstock and I trimmed it at 7.5 by 11.5. Well, actually 7 1/4 by 11.5. I'm sorry. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the score marks where I need you to score. You're going to line this up on the 11.5 inch side, and you're going to first score at 1.5. The gussets in between each page are going to be 1/2 inch, and the actual page hinge is going to be at 3/4 inch. So you're going to score at 1.5, 2, 2 3/4, 3.5, 4, 4 3/4, 6.5, 6, 6 3/4, 7.5, 8, 8 3/4, 9.5, and 10. That gives you 1, 2, 3, 4 pages with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gussets in between, and the 1/2 inches is just so that way it can overlap onto the album. So go ahead and take your scoreboard out, and now the next thing to do is to line up your pages with score tape. Now again, this is me being kind of like new at this all over again. So you're gonna have your 1.5 inch side, your 1/2 inch gusset, and then you're going to tape the first 3/4 inch section, skip the 3/4 inch, skip the 1/2 inch, put tape on your first, again, your next 3/4 inch space, skip the 3/4, skip the 1/2, tape on your next 3/4 inch section, skip the 3/4, skip the 1/2, and tape on your last 3/4 inch section. So you're going to have tape on, and I'm going to go ahead and trim this excess off because I don't want anything sticking out. You're going to tape on every 3/4 inch, on every first 3/4 inch. So then now the way I do it is I'm going to take my backing off, fold this down to itself, fold this back, and do it again. Take this off, fold it onto itself. Now fold it back. So you're going to be left with this. And do the same thing. Take this off, fold this onto itself, and fold it back. Take this off, fold the 3/4 inch onto itself, onto the next one, and you're going to fold on the crease behind it. So now you're left with, if you flip it over, you're going to be left with 1, 2, 3, 4 hinges for this. Is your four pages, just like so. So we're going to attach score tape on all of this and on both sides of your hinges, because this is where your pages are going to line in. So I'm going to first put my score tape on my hinges, and I like putting them right in the middle. Once that's done, I'm going to line this outside part with score tape as well, because this is what's going to be attached to the inside of my cover. So again, like I said before, I always like to make sure it's very, very tightly adhered, especially these hinges, because this is what's going to have most movement in your album, is your hinges and your pages, because those are going to be constantly turned. Okay, so this score tape I am not going to touch, but this score tape in the back I am. So now when I line this up, I'm going to make sure that my hinges, or my actual hinge section, is right down the middle, just like so, and that's where I'm going to glue it, or actually adhere it. Done, I'm going to make sure that this is centered, pretty close to it being in the center from top to bottom, and also from side to side. So to me that looks about right, and I'm going ahead and lay that down. Burnish right in between each individual gusset. Careful not to push too hard. Now make sure that you varnish this section right here to get it moving. And there you go. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and cover up these sections right here. And I need to find my ruler because I can't find, oh, there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 pieces that are going to measure 7 3/4. By 7 3/4. So now we're going to go ahead and glue that down to this section, making sure that I'm not covering that score line or the hinge right there where my page bends. And this is going to give us our base for the paper. Now I am not going to, since this is not going to be very much moved, I am only going to attach score tape around the perimeter, and then in the middle I am going to add art glitter glue, simply because nothing really here is going to be moving other than if I make any type of interaction with the front and back cover. Okay, so I already went and attached this. So now we have the base to our 8x8 mini album. We will go ahead and start with the page sizes and the page bases for now. That's the next step. And after that, that will be the end of this part 1 of the tutorial. Okay, so now that we're done with our base, we're gonna go ahead and construct our pages, which I'm going to be using the cardstock, the 12x12, and I'm going to trim that at 7. I'm going to have 4 pieces that are 7.5 by 7.5. So we're going to make these 7.5 by 7.5. And please do not get rid of all these leftover pieces, because we will be using these in our album. So please keep a hold of them. And now we're going to need 4 pieces at 7.5 by 8.5. So again, 7.5 by 8.5. So we're done with those. And again, do not get rid of these. These are going to be coming in handy for all of our interactive pieces on our pages. So set those to the side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my 8.5-inch pages, and I'm going to grab my scoreboard. And now on the 8.5-inch side, we're going to go ahead and score at 1/2 inch. Turn it over and score at 1/2 inch again. So you have 1/2 inch, and then I guess if you want to leave it on the 8.5-inch side, you're going to score at 8, and you're going to score at 1/2. So go ahead and do that to all 4 of your pages that are at 8.5 and 1/2 inch. Okay, so there you have all 4 of your 8.5-inch pages scored at 1/2 inch. Put your scoring tool to the side, and now we're going to grab our double-sided tape. Go ahead and bend on those score lines, and we're going to add our tape onto those hinges, just like so. And we're going to grab our 7.5 by 7.5, and we're going to attach them just like so. Okay, so now this is a little trick that I learned from Rosa. You're going to pull part of your tape backing off, line your page right there, hold that down and hold it down on this end, making sure it's straight, and pull your tape and burnish it. Very simple. Do the same thing over here. Pull this off, line that up, hold it down here, and varnish it. And there you have your base page. So go ahead and repeat this step for all 4 pages. Okay, so now we have all 4 of our base pages and our complete cover for our mini album. Now our pages are going to measure 7.5 by 7.5, so they're going to fit just like that. These are the base pages. They're each going to have an insert, and you do have about 1/2 inch to a little bit over 1/2 inch of a gusset in between your pages and your covers, so that leaves a lot of room for embellishments or interaction and tags and so forth. So this is going to conclude our first part of our tutorial. We went ahead and did the construction of the cover, the hinges, and the base pages, and next time we're going to do the construction of the front cover interaction and page 1, and we'll see how many parts it's going to take for us to finish this album together. So I would like to say thank you so much for tuning in and for watching. If you are not subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell, so that way you can be notified of all the tutorials that I'm going to be loading when it comes to this album and any future project. All the materials that I'm using, I will go ahead and link down below. They are from JS Hobbies and Crafts. This is again a guest design team project that I'm doing for Shelly at JS Hobbies and Crafts. So thank you so much, Shelly, again for giving me the opportunity to do so. Again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye now.